Welcome back to the channel, Black Rifle fans. We've got another one out on the bench for you today to check out. So huge shout out to Bear Creek for letting us take a look at this. But this is one of the BC8s. Now, if you've watched the channel, you know last year that I've already had a BC8 on the channel. However, it was in 300 Win Mag. And since I posted that review, I cannot tell you the amount of questions that I've been bombarded with regarding this version, but in 30-06. So that's what this one is chambered in. So, you know, what were my thoughts on the 30-06? Which one should I get? So on and so forth. And I didn't know. I didn't shoot the one in 30-06, but we're going to do that today. So this is a 20-inch barrel. So this has the 20-inch contoured, somewhat, I would consider it for what it is, maybe a light contour. I mean, I know there's no like government profile or whatever you want to call it in something like this, but the barrel is not overly huge. I would say it's more of a lighter contoured barrel. Again, these rifles are geared towards hunters. So then you're going to get your 5-round mag. Same magazine design as the 300 Win Mag. However, the magazines are different. They are not interchangeable. You guys probably already knew that, but in case you didn't, this one, as you can see, is marked 270 30-06. And let me grab this over here. You can see this one here is marked 300 Win Mag 7mm. So with that being said, got to make sure that you have the correct magazine for the correct rifle. Now the lowers are completely the same. So if you bought a 30-06 and you wanted to try the 300 Win Mag, you can buy one of their complete uppers, put it on there, get you a magazine, and you'd be good to go. You wouldn't have to buy a separate rifle. So I mean, that is pretty cool. And they are selling components now. So you can buy uppers, you can buy just lowers, and I think you can even buy barrels. And they, of course, they do sell extra magazines on the website. Now, the only downside to these magazines, and I think I mentioned it in the first review, they're not cheap. These are like $100 a piece, but these things are stout. They are a 3-piece clamshell design. I would imagine these are probably a billet aluminum, possibly. They are extremely well made, very well balanced, and they feed flawless. I mean, these things, they shoot. I have not had any issues at all with these. Now, we are going to take this back and put a few groups on paper. I've got 3 different loads. I got some 150 grain Federal. I've got some 180 grain Federal. And I've got some 175 grain OTM match, which I was able to find. So definitely can't wait to see how that shoots. But if you're in the market for one of these and you really don't know which one's which, I am going to do a comparison video after this review. So stay tuned for that if you're interested in seeing it. But we have, again, Parkerized finished barrel, 4150 chromoly steel. The gas tube length, I don't know if I would really call this a... I guess it's about, well, it'd be about 14.5 inches long. So it is proprietary to the BC8 spiral flash hider they use on a lot of their firearms. The slant handguard, it is M-LOK, so you do got M-LOK capable accessory attachment if you need to. Comes from the factory with the Magpul MOE Plus grip. Love this grip. Absolutely love this grip. Same as the other models, and you get the fixed rifle stock from Magpul as well. And probably the coolest upgrade to this rifle here, and I wish they would offer this upgrade in some of their other rifles, BCA if you're listening, but this comes factory with an installed velocity trigger. So as you can see, there's no ammunition in this gun. Let's go ahead and drop the hammer, and I'm going to get you a pull weight on that because this trigger is phenomenal, guys. So, little less than 4 pounds, and it is absolutely crisp. So, let me get the camera back out to the hide. It is a hot, hot day, but we are going to put some rounds downrange anyway. See how this thing performs at 110 yards. We'll compare it to some of those targets shot by the 300 Win Mag. All right, made it back to the hide. We've got our Bear Creek BC8 and 30-06 here on the bench. Got our 3 different loads. We're going to try the 150 grain jacketed soft point Federal Power Shock first. We've got 3 of those loaded up. I will let the barrel cool in between each of these because there's quite a bit of powder going down the tube. So give it its best chance for success here. And I have to tell you, if you've ever been around the southern Indiana area, you've probably heard the term air that you can wear. It is ridiculously humid back here today. I am just dripping sweat. So let's power through and let's see what this BC8 can do out on some paper. So first shots here. All right, so stand by. All right, so there's our first three. Doesn't appear to be too crazy, but not bad. But let's let the barrel cool for a minute or two, give that thing a chance to settle down, and then we're going to try 3 of our SIG Elite Performance. Okay, 3 rounds of our SIG Elite Performance. This is a 175 grain OTM match, so pretty interested to see how these will do. So stand by. Not bad, but I think one shot kind of went off paper there. So now I did not, and I don't, zero for point of impact on every different load. I know some guys that just absolutely irks them to death, but I'm not going to do it. So we may take another shot or another group of those here at the end, but let's let the barrel cool and we'll try the next one. Okay, I went ahead and just loaded up 3 more of those SIG. So let's try 3 more of those 175 grain open tip match and try a different target spot and see if we can keep these all on paper for you guys. There's always got to be one. Dang it. Not bad though, not bad. We had 2 basically right on top of each other, and I think I pulled that 3rd one, but let's let it cool down and we'll finish off with some of our 180 grain Power Shock. All right, 3 more rounds, 180 grain this time. So let's see what these will do. Now this barrel does have a 1 in 10 twist, so shouldn't have no problem at all shooting the heavier grain projectiles, especially for you hunters. So let's see what these will do. Man, that's not bad at all. Not at all. Okay, so let me run down. I'm going to grab our target. I'm going to go get that 300 Win Mag target so you guys can take a look at it side by side with this one. And let's kind of see how it did. All right, back from the backstop, we got our target here. Went ahead and wrote down what all we did. But first one up, Federal Power Shock, 150 grain jacketed soft point. Each one of these squares are about 3/4 of an inch. So looking at about 2 inches there. Not terrible. I would say not terrible. I mean, again, guys, this is just hunting ammo. Even in 30-06, you can find this round for about 25 bucks. So very affordable. But next, here is that SIG. So we did catch that 1 round right off the corner of the target. But I'd say that is really good. I mean, my thumb can pretty much cover those 3 shots. And that is the SIG Elite 175 grain OTM. Now that stuff is a little bit more expensive, probably more geared towards target match shooting. Now granted, I don't know how much match shooting you would do with a BC8, but I mean, you definitely could. Now here is SIG again, And I know I pulled that shot. I have no doubt that I pulled that shot. And then this one here is the 180 grain version of that Federal Power Shock 180 grain jacketed soft point. And I would say it shot almost as good as that SIG. So, and this stuff here is also about $25 a box from what I've seen at Walmart. So, guys, I think it shoots. I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. And for as big a round, and I wouldn't consider 30-06 being a match round to begin with, but I'd say that's pretty darn close to MOA out of a rifle like this. I don't really think you could expect much more. This is a hunting rifle. So much in like the 300 Win Mag, which I do have that old target here as well. So interestingly enough, it also shot 180 grain Federal Power Shock pretty darn good. Maybe not quite as good as, I'd say pretty close. Pretty close to the same group between the two calibers. Here was some Remington. Here was some Federal Gold Medal Match 190 grain. Now, granted, I couldn't find anything like that in 30-06, but stacked two of those shots and then one shot over there. And here was some Winchester Deer Season XP, one there, and then we clipped one over here. So I'd say it is absolutely more than enough accurate and precise for its intended purpose. And you could actually take and just shoot this thing for fun, and it really wouldn't break the bank. It's not much more expensive to shoot if you're shooting stuff like this, or maybe even surplus 30-06, than it would be your 308 AR-10. And let me tell you, this thing here just absolutely screams America. So why on earth would you not want to shoot one of these at the range? I mean, they are honestly just fun. The thing that probably surprised me the most about the BC8 whenever I very first shot, and the same holds true for the 300 Win Mag, is they really don't recoil that bad. Now, the recoil impulse is a little bit different because that bolt carrier group is so long, but the shock of it, the impulse to your shoulder, it's not really any worse than any 308 that I have ever shot. Honestly, it's very comparable to my 308 carbine. I mean, it's very, very smooth. That velocity trigger is amazing. Absolutely nothing to change on that. But now these come out of the box at about 11.25 pounds, so your mileage will vary depending on the accessories that you put on it after you get it out of the box and get it to the range. But overall, for its intended purpose as a hunting rifle, it definitely fits the bill. Now, just because, you know, I live in a free state, I would love to have a 10-round magazine. Now, I have heard from Bear Creek they are not planning on doing that, which is a super, super bummer. But hopefully the aftermarket will hear the call, and maybe somebody can get us a 10-round mag. That would be too cool. But overall, awesome gun to shoot. If you get a chance to try one of these, do it. They actually have this model on sale, very reasonably priced for what it is. So definitely check out my campsite page. If you've been thinking about trying one of these, you could do a lot worse than this one right here in the 30-06 as far as the caliber goes. Because, I mean, they shoot, and they shoot very well. It's a lot of fun, and you definitely would get some looks at your local range. There's no question about it. But if you got any questions on this, post them up below. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Would this be something that you guys would end up trying? I think it would surprise you. But please like, share, and subscribe. It always helps the channel. Shoot straight.